Body image, body image, body image. I'm a little bit bossy in this particular step because there are three things that I believe we very often do to ourselves, ways of thinking that we do to ourselves, which are so unhelpful, and we have to try to stop them. And these are comparisonitis, my word, labeling, and mind reading. And I just want to talk a little bit about those in this video. You've also got most of it and probably a little bit more written down in the step below as well. And they are very common. They're very common, particularly if you're carrying weight that you don't like, that you're in a body that is not what you want. And part of this whole month is to say, well, how can you at least accept where you are now? Accept where you are now. Appreciate where you are now. But these ways of thinking are not only confined to someone who is carrying excess weight. They can be actually prevalent in anyone, because that negative body image can exist irrespective of what size you are, because it's what's in here, isn't it? It's our perception of our body. But it's also a perception of our body which comes about in relation to other people. So the first one, comparisonitis, I call this, actually I don't call it, it was called this when I did my training, Beauty and the Beast thinking. So it's about this idea of black and white and extremes. In other words, for example, if you notice that someone has an attractive body part, it's attractive to you, probably it might be because it's different from yours. But what that then does is that you will immediately think that your version of that body part must be unattractive. Of course, it isn't, is it? It's just different. And that's the way that we need to start thinking. That our particular body, in whatever area that we might be thinking about, is not the polar opposite to someone else in whom we think that is attractive or is positive. And so, for example, look, she's got really slim legs. Mine are really fat. Also, some examples. She's lost weight and I can't seem to do it. I'm useless. What's wrong with me? Ask a few questions of yourself. What do you feel this means about you and your relationship with your body? Do you feel or think this all the time? In other words, if you're around someone who has slim legs, do you always think that? Or do we go back to this idea about having a fat day? Oh, the sun has come out. I might need to check this video. I think we're okay. The beauty of live recording, no editing. We don't need that. We're friends. Yes, so what was I saying? Yes, so ask yourself, do you feel or think this all the time? Are there any situations where you are around someone who's lost weight and you don't feel bad about yourself? In other words, is it the context? Is it them? Is it the setting? Are you having a fat day? Go back to that step. What do you need to think in order to feel okay about yourself when others lose weight? What do you need to say to yourself? What would be a more helpful thing to think or say? Could it be that you're on a journey of weight loss? Also, just on the weight loss thing, let me just throw in, just because someone is slim and has lost weight, this is not necessarily positive. You might perceive it as positive because they may have a body that you aspire to. And again, we're trying to work on that a little bit, aren't we? But actually, what have they gone through in order to achieve that? It might not have been particularly comfortable. They may have an eating disorder. They may have some serious issues with their relationship with food in order to get to that weight. So let's not assume that it's a good thing. And so the idea about someone else having slim legs and therefore yours are fat. What do you think it is that makes you automatically feel bad when you meet people who look different from you? And reminding yourself that you will always meet people who you may think look better than you in certain parts of their body. We are all different, and it really is about perhaps looking at them, making the observation, and maybe just saying, that's nice. And not taking it on. In other words, not absorbing it and making it always reflect on you, because it doesn't. And instead, perhaps, how can you soothe yourself when this happens? What can you say that's good about yourself? And maybe you take it away from the body. And you'll notice that in the workbook, there's an exercise called I approve. And you might then think about one of your positive attributes instead. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anywhere near as much as you think it does. The next one is labeling. The kind of thinking where we make decisions about ourselves deliberately to hold ourselves back. And sometimes this keeps us safe from fear and harm and all that subconscious stuff that we've talked about. But you have to ask yourself, is it true, or is it a limiting belief that I have about myself? And do go back to month 3 and watch Vanda's video on this, because it's really helpful. Some labeling statements might be, I am too fat to wear a swimming costume on the beach. Who says? Is it true? Where does it come from? What do you need to do about it to make it not true? How can you prove it to yourself? What are the steps? Do you need to go with a friend? Do you need to go at a certain time of day? Do you need to get a really good, well-fitting swimsuit? One that you love, one that makes you feel good. If you think about what Terry talks to us about in this month, about your personal style, irrespective of shape and size. I can't go to the gym because I'm too big to exercise, or I'm too unfit, or I'm going to look stupid, or I haven't got the right gear. Again, are those things true, and how much do they matter? And what can you do about them in order for you to move forward and live your life and not put things on hold? I am the least attractive in the room. Well, I'd like to know what kind of scale it is that you're using for that one. That is labeling. And it sometimes comes from a place of safety, or wanting to keep you safe, but it's not helpful and it's limiting you. So what can you do about those? Can you have a conversation with yourself? And the third one, mind reading. This is all about other people. We just need to let go of other people, don't we? We need to let go of what they think and what they maybe might be saying and how we relate to them and how we compare to them, and celebrate ourselves just as individuals. Anyway, mind reading. How many times may you have thought any of these following statements? They will think I'm fat. I can't go swimming. Everyone will look at me. They will think I'm trying to look like them. They won't want to talk to me because of how I look. We'd all like the powers of mind reading, wouldn't we? Gosh, how helpful would that be? But in reality, you have no idea what anyone is thinking. And all of these thoughts are about you and your relationship with your body, not about anyone else. They're projections of your own value about yourself. So let's pick a statement, the swimming one. And I'm not obsessed with swimming, but it is a very common one I hear. I can't go swimming. Imagine I'm asking you these questions around it. What might happen if you did? What happens if you don't? And how does this help with your progress and where you want to get to? What do you tell yourself about swimming, and maybe yourself in relation to other people, that holds you back? What would help you to manage your feelings if you decide to go? And what needs to happen for you to just do it? So these three thinking styles, comparisonitis, labeling, mind reading, are really, really common if you're unhappy in your body, whether it's a larger body or not. Perhaps it's helpful to go back to the food story that you did in month 1. Are there messages you carry with you even now about your value? Maybe someone said something to you at a certain time and it is stuck. Is there a message there around your size and your worth or your acceptance by other people? Can you leave it in the past and move forward? You are not that person anymore, and they were nowhere to be seen. Because at some point, we have to use our own resilience to remind ourselves of who we are and that we are so much more than this body. So much more. So to be confident in our strengths, and Gail is so helpful this month, isn't she, in her step that she's done for us. And that our self-validation is something way, way more than how we look, the dress size, what we weigh, all of those things. So by understanding and recognizing them now, you can say to yourself, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop doing this now. I'm going to breathe. This is the body bit, bossy bit. I'm going to breathe, and I am going to not allow myself to think these punishing thoughts. Would I say them to someone else? No, I wouldn't. Would I say them to myself? No, we're going to stop now. No more comparisonitis. No more labeling. No more mind reading. You're going to put it all to one side, and you are going to get on with your life and do what you want to do. And the other step in this month, which relates very closely to this, is prioritization. So have a look at that too. I'll see you very soon.